Good evening, my fellow peasants and nobility. Welcome back to Lords of Middle-earth, game number 2, and the finals between myself and Saved by Him. So, game 1, I was Shadow, so of course game 2, I'm playing as Free Peoples. So I start with Wisdom of Elrond and Three Kings, fantastic cards. He gets News Powers Rising and Nazgul Search, also cool cards. That's actually, I hadn't, watched the replay and seen his cards before, so that's such a cool combo for if you wanted to do an early Rivendell. Because, like, that, instant army, go get them, and then play that and force a reveal out of them so you could get the chief. Like, that's a very cool combo. So yeah, anyway, typical Narya Gandalf and Gimli out to Erebor, and yeah, away we go. One eye in for him, and two more rolled. So a really funny turn, because normally the thing Shadow wants on turn 1 is musters, and he doesn't have any, but I've got lots of musters, and the thing the Free Peoples wants is character dice, which I don't have any of, but he has some. So, yeah, my dice saying, like they're not sure about what's happening here anyway. So we talk about it for a bit. I think overall this turn is better for Free Peoples because the Shadow can't get any extra dice economy going unless I give him a ring anyway. But yeah, so I start by just moving some people around. He draws a card, Shadow on the Misty Mountains. Fantastic card. Oh, that's lovely. Muster the elves down. He musters Sauron to war. I continue mustering the elves to war. He plays Shadows of the Misty Mountains. I complain about it because, like, what's the point of playing this game if you don't? I finish getting the elves to war. He moves an army down. So, originally I had thought that I was going to use a ring to move once this turn. But then he used the token to change the tempo. So now if I give him a ring, I really am giving him either a Gothmog or the Balrog or the Black Captain. And I'd rather not. So I decide to, instead, I just bring in Elrond. So I bring in Elrond here specifically because I have 3 rings for the Elven Kings in hand. So getting to use his ring early to create another movement and then hopefully play this and get that ring back makes, getting him early, because I don't know where he's coming. Maybe he's planning on attacking me, so I'd rather use that ring ability quickly rather than risk losing it. So, and true to form, here he comes after Rivendell. So, on to the next turn, he gets, wow, some fantastic mustering cards. His first 3 cards, Orcs Multiplying, New Powers Rising, Shadows in the Misty Mountains. That is juicy. That is lovely stuff right there. Okay, so Narya Die is gone because I didn't move the Fellowship at all. Okay, so one eye in, no more rolled, and he gets that lovely roll. Again, no musters, so that makes me really wish I hadn't separated Gimli. Whoops, I don't know if you could hear that. That was something dropping, aside from the bass. Yeah, because if I hadn't given him that token, then he literally just wouldn't be able to attack me at all right now. Like, obviously, you could still get some army moving, like probably this big army headed towards the dew line, but still, that would feel very frustrating. Yeah, so anyway. I go ahead and move because, like, as soon as that army comes and attacks Rivendell, then I can't, then the Fellowship has rerolls on it, right? So I decided to get my moving done first. So I could have also mustered in Rivendell twice. Like, I could have used the Will of the West and the hybrid die to just muster in Rivendell. Then once he gets here, then just, too bad. I'm stronger than you, so I just field battle it and hopefully win. That strategy didn't appeal to me because what if my dice just suck? Like what if he, brings Nazgul around and has Dread and Despair, which he does have in hand. Also with Orcs Multiplying again, that's some good reinforcements he might be able to bring in. Yeah. So anyway, I decided to just move and hurry up and use Elrond's die. Elrond's, ring ability rather. So he comes towards Rivendell. I do decide to muster 1 elite in there because that, it just feels appropriate. So now Rivendell's besieged, so now I move again. We forgot the reroll. We realized that in a little bit. So he plays Orcs Multiplying again. I move again. Now he remembers the reroll, so it misses anyway. So, yeah. So he moves towards the Dew Line and towards Gondor. I draw a strategy card here, so I was tempted to move first and then use this draw card to hide with Strider. But on the other hand, I gave him a ring, so he can besiege Woodland Realm right now. So instead, I decided that I'm going to use this Will of the West to muster an elite, since like I went through all the muster dice of rocketing the elves to war. Like I might as well benefit from it, right? Beyond getting one elite in Rivendell. So I decided to draw a strategy card specifically hoping for scouts so that this regular could get in there too, and I'm blessed with the scouts. So he attacks Old Forest, no cards, scouts away into Woodland Realm, feels very good, and I muster. And yeah, he uses a ring to besiege it, so I can't muster again in there for free. And yeah, there we have it. On to the next turn. Sadly, I do have 2 keeper dice now, so that is often a bummer. Happy to see Sudden Strike. That feels really good with Elrond there. Okay, so 1 eye in, no more rolled, and only 1 movement for me though, so meh. Right, I am lucky enough to not roll an eye on either of my keeper dice. That would be a bummer. So I decide to use a ring to move first here, and he just hits me and reveals me. So that's always fun on the, well, technically 2 dice at 6, but he hits me. He didn't need the reroll, so I decided to take the 1 corruption and reveal in Moria, and then I pull an eye. So I'm a little bit annoyed by that choice on my part here. Yeah. Wait, why did I move first like that? Oh, right. So the tricky choice here is I wanted to play 3 rings, but I wanted to be able to get 2 rings back. So that's why I used Gandalf's die here first. But the downside is that after I get Elrond's ring back, assuming I get at least 1 hit, then I've already moved 1, so that makes using it this turn less good against the 1 eye. So that was like, I can't enjoy both sides of that on this exchange. Anyway, out comes the chief. And then I play 3 rings, hoping for, 2 hits so I could steal the Gandalf ring back from him without him getting to use it, but I get 0 hits. So, yeah, that feels bad. Then he plays candles, and of course he knows how to roll a 6. So he gets 2 hits with candles. I complain. I've played 2 games of Shadow recently where I rolled like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1 with candles. So, yeah. Then I go ahead and complain about that for a little while, so that's fun. Then he plays Worn with Sorrow and Toil. That is just disgusting. Fellowship hides. He moves along. I muster Gondor closer to war. He plays Isildur's Bane, pulls a 2. So that feels great. I get the dwarves closer to war. He brings in Gothmog. And yeah, on we go. So I honestly couldn't tell you who's winning at this point. It feels pretty balanced. Like he's got some military speed, but like my defenses have also been all right, and the fellowship speed is also like meh. 3 turns taken 4 steps. That's not great. And also I'm at 5 corruption, so that's also not great. So yeah, I guess I'd give him the edge. Like also, and I've used 2 rings, and we know I'm not getting any of them back. Like that wonderful card has already come and gone. So okay, the 1 eye in, 1 more rolled. Decent roll for me. So Fellowship moves, and they're safe. Isengard to war. Pass. He attacks Dale. I use Heroic Death, which he cancels with his Swarm of Bats, but it doesn't matter because he can't roll a 6. I don't get a hit back, but I'm very happy to get that leadership retreating to Erebor. That makes it much more formidable. So I think for a while about mustering in Carrick, and I decide that it's just not really worth it, because I could use that muster instead to do a number of other things. I could play Wisdom of Elrond and get Gondor to war, or I could play Kindred of Glorfindel and reinforce Rivendell, or I could get the dwarves closer to war. And if I get an elite there, like maybe it will survive and retreat somewhere, but like what's that regular gonna do? There's not much to do. So I decided it's not worth it. Like yes, it would have stopped him from getting that other half movement, but is that really worth a whole die on my part? I decided I didn't think so. So I move again, and I'm safe this time. That's nice. He draws a card. I move again. Hit this time, and it's a 3. So that's very nice for killing Gandalf. I lost a blue tile to Ward with Sword Toil there, so that does feel not great, but no, that's how it be. Out comes Saruman. I get the dwarves closer to war. He moves towards the Dew Line. I finish getting the dwarves to war, and he uses a ring to do what here? Right, he moves troops to Dale and to near Harad. Okay, on to the next turn. We prove the Swifter. He gets a red tile in Shadow of Dol Guldur. I wonder what he chucks here. Tough choices. Yeah, I don't know. All of those are good cards. He chucks Shadow of Dol Guldur. Yeah, that's reasonable. And Dreadful Spells. Yep, those make sense. Okay, Fellowship declares forward, 1 eye in, 2 more rolled. So I could get to Mordor this turn, maybe. I could, I have 2 movement, could use a ring to move a 3rd time. I could even hide a couple times with Strider. But also I could get Gandalf this turn, and that feels nice. And do I really want to move 3 times against 3 eyes, like with the reroll? Like, I would probably hurt myself a good deal. So yeah, I decided to get Gandalf and, enjoy playing Horn of Gondor and only moving once this turn. Okay, I muster an Erebor first in case he attacks me. He musters Saltharids to war. I get Gandalf. He finishes mustering Saltharids to war. I play Horn of Gondor. He plays a red tile. I move the Fellowship. They're safe. He plays a New Powers Rising. He plays Rage of the Dunlendings out towards Rivendell. Oh, that's a cool combo. Yeah, New Powers Rising and Rage of the Dunlendings. That's so sick. I pass. He moves towards Rivendell and towards Dale. I muster up again an Erebor. Funnily enough, I'm thinking at this point, if he attacked me, I would go for a field battle because I have an advantageous position, a shield wall, and a confusion to drop, and he has no leadership, so that makes advantageous position really strong here. And I could afford to lose 2 regulars, and I'm still going to fight at full combat strength since I have Gimli here, and hopefully draw into Dane Ironfoot's Guard to muster the last Dwarven Elite into that stronghold. But he does not attack Erebor. He moves troops to Umbar into Rivendell. Okay. Safe paths in the dark. I chuck We Prove the Swifter. Yeah, that was a poor choice in hindsight. I should have kept We Prove the Swifter just so that there was a chance that Safe Paths in the Dark could survive a companion dying. So that I could have rolled that dice for that 50-50. Oh well. So Fellowship moves forward. 2 eyes rolled. 4 movement. I decided to play Kindred of Glorfindel with the Will of the West because it seems unlikely to me that I'll need all 4 movement here because I have 3, right? And I can hide with Strider if I need to. So, okay, he plays Orc Patrol. It's an eye. Yeah, that was pretty lucky. Yeah, it's pretty lucky to draw an eye there. So Fellowship moves and they're hit, and it's another eye. So I eat up Horn of Gondor with that and reveal 1 step closer. He hits me with Morgul Wound. Feels bad. I hide with the Palantir. Did he have Crow Weather? He did not have Crow Weather. Ah, well. He attacks Osgiliath. Yeah, we talk like he accidentally rolled before I said no card, so we decided to re-roll it. I play Confusion. I get 1 hit with that, but he gets 2 hits, so that's definitely a better deal for him. Muster up in Minas Tirith. So he could rush Dol Amroth right here, and I don't have any musters, which is what I was expecting him to do, to be honest. But I had Imrahil, so I was thinking it wouldn't be that bad if he did that anyway. And who knows, maybe this guy would escape it there. Like, I do have an advantageous position, so. Okay, but he goes after Rohan instead, which is an entirely reasonable choice. So he plays Fear of the Masters against Shield Wall. I'm actually pretty lucky that he only got 2 hits there, and I get an extra hit from that fear back. So he presses. I decided to retreat to Helm's Deep because I feel like speed-wise, I've got a bit of a lead right now, and I don't want to risk being delayed a whole turn. So, like, I could have retreated to West Emnet and then used a character die to walk that army into Helm's Deep, but I decided I'd rather just make sure I get in this turn, which is, I don't know, maybe a mistake. But, oh well, here we are. So he besieges Helm's Deep. I move the Fellowship, and we're safe. And then he attacks Minas Tirith, and I move the Fellowship again, and this time it's a hit, and it's a 3. I think about it. I decided to just lose Strider because I'm already at 6 corruption, so if I take a random and I draw a Hobbit, then I'm up to 8 corruption, and then that could get ugly with some high damage eyes. Yeah. And of course, if you hurry up and get down to Gollum, then, yeah, then all these reveals aren't reveals anymore, so that's always fun. He plays Nazgul Search, makes sense, gets to rearrange his Nazgul and gets an extra tile draw out of me, but it's literally the only eye in there, so that's pretty lucky for me. So off we go to the next turn. I pick up Ents, and I'm very happy to see Ents. That's just free, you get to kill Saruman. Gothbog's die is gone. Okay, so on we go. 1 eye in, 1 more rolled, couple movement for me. The downside is, of course, I don't have Strider anymore, so I can't go faster. So I hide the normal way. He puts in a red tile. That makes sense. I play my Ents card because if I move, I want to be able to kill companions, and then Born Restore and Toil would take away my character card, so I kill Saruman first. Yeah, and I'm reminiscing. Last time, in Game 1, when I was Shadow, I left Saruman undefended for quite a while, but no Ents ever showed up. So it feels a little bit unfair that I get to, what do you call it? Just pick up Ents right away like that. So I muster once to Dol Amroth. He brings in the Mouth. He moves along troops. I move the Fellowship. It's a 1 reveal, so that's okay. I'd rather hit an eye here just to get an eye for a 2R. Or Smeagol would have been nice too. Or non-revealing tile. That would have been nice too. But, so I take a random hoping to efficiently lose a Hobbit, but I lose Boromir, so oh well, that's okay. Woodland Realm, Swarm of Bats against Daylight. That feels bad. Definitely making me wish I'd played advantageous position there, yeah. So he gets 2 hits. I get 2 hits back. He presses. Confusion. He gets 2 hits. I get 2 hits. He presses. No card, and he just rolls 2 6s anyway. So for all that effort I did to make Woodland Realm reasonably well defended, that it crumpled pretty quick. It doesn't work so well if the Shadow player just rolls 6s. So I muster up some more in Erebor and Dol Amroth. He brings in the Balrog. I muster up some more in Gondor and Erebor. And now he attacks Pelargir. No card. I decided to retreat to Osgiliath because I was just hopeful in case I picked up like help unlooked for, or maybe if he has a terrible roll, maybe I could do some Free People's military shenanigans. Maybe I should have retreated to Lamedon because then like this army would be better equipped for maybe trying to do something. But yeah, anyway, off we go. 1 eye in, 2 more rolled. Also an eye from Elrond, so thanks a lot, Jerkwad. I hide the Fellowship. Right. So here's my thought. Because Elrond's die is going, and because I would really like to not take a eye that does 4 damage, I want to bring in Galadriel this turn, so I have her ring available for that. And I also want to be able to play Imrahil of Dol Amroth if he goes after Dol Amroth. So I hide with the character die first, hoping he doesn't have Day Without Dawn, or if he does, at least it's out of the way for the future, so that then I can use this Will of the West to bring in Galadriel, then move the Fellowship, and have this Buster here to play Imrahil if I need it. It's my thought process. Okay, he plays Hill Trolls to make Rivendell stronger. I bring in Galadriel. He musters up some Nazgul. I move the Fellowship. It's a 2 reveal. I'm very happy to see, not an eye or a red tile anyway. Like, that's still... Smeagol 3 or 2 all would have been better, but that's probably the next best card after that anyway. He remembers Born Restore Toil in a second. Yeah, there he goes. Now he remembers it. So I lost. We proved the Swifter to that, which is like, could have been cute maybe, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so then he plays Grond against Rivendell. So he is doing what great players do when you're the Shadow player and there's a chance the Free People's player might be able to dunk next turn. You ask yourself the question, can I win this turn? And the answer is maybe. So he goes for the way that he might be able to win. He has only 4 dice left, and he's only at 4 points. But with Grond, he can finish Rivendell. If he's lucky, he could finish Minas Tirith in 1 die, and he absolutely could finish Helm's Deep in 1 die. So, yeah. And then, even if I attack Erebor, if Erebor attacks Dale to take it back off of 1 point, then he has an extra die to take that back. And maybe he'll need that die for taking Minas Tirith too. So, seeing that, I hang on to my character die here in case I need to attack Dale to hold on to another turn. I would like to use that to hide, but if I have to use it to survive another turn, then I will. So anyway, Grond against Rivendell here. Desperate Battle against Shield Wall. Yeah, geez, he just rolls 4 hits like it's no big deal. I roll 4 hits back, so that helps. Still feels bad. Strategy card, Daylight against Devilry. Really wish I'd played advantageous position there. And he just rolls another 3 hits, so just... Jeez, man, what are you supposed to do? Like, what kind of savage nonsense is this? Get 3 hits back. Kind of feels like a useless point at this point. On we go to the next one. No card, no card. He gets 0 hits. I get 2 hits back. So luckily enough, that ends that siege for now. He still could win this turn in theory. He goes after Rivendell again with a strategy card, so Onslaught against advantageous position. He rolls 0 hits. I roll 0 hits back. He thinks about it and decides to not use the Onslaught, which I was surprised by. I think I would have gone for it just because keeping the pressure on, you know? Like, if you take 4 hits, it is likely that you would win. Like, the average result would be you getting 2 hits and finishing off the stronghold. So I would go for it personally. But the downside, though, is for sure that if you mess this up, and next turn, if I, manage to sortie with a sudden strike, then, Rivendell is free and you're seriously set behind. So playing it safe is reasonable for sure. So now I know he can't win this turn, so I go ahead and hide the Fellowship. He attacks Rivendell again. Deadly Strife, that works. Rolling 2 6s helps too. I get 2 hits back, yep. Doesn't really make a difference at this point, but... Oh, he forgot to take the 2 hits. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Okay, so he goes after Helm's Deep. No card. He gets no hits. I get 2 hits. So great job, Rohirrim. Great job. So he presses and plays Stormcrow, but he rolls 2 6s, so he doesn't even need it. Those 2 Rohirrim, man, they're having me wishing that I'd invested that character die to get more dudes in there. They had an opportunity to do up to 4 hits, and they did 4 hits, homie. Good job, guys. Very good job, guys. So it's looking a little bit grimmer for me than it did a turn or 2 ago. I've got to go up 3 steps at 6 corruption with 2 hobbits, and I've got, 5 dice plus Galadriel, but he's at 8 points and has Minas Tirith besieged with a pretty strong army and another whole army as reinforcement, so it's not looking great. I pick up the way there in Spirit of Mordor. I pre-roll Galadriel just to get it off the eye. He puts in 2 eyes and rolls no more. I roll that. So I'm stuck debating here. Do I risk him playing Day Without Dawn, or do I play the way there first? Because I would definitely rather play it first to have those 2 tiles in there that, are non-revealing and not damaging tiles. But at the same time, I'd rather not do that with the Will of the West because I want to keep all the movement that I have. So I decide to go ahead and move first with the Will of the West. And it's an eye, so that's, okay. It's not red, but, really any, Smeagol would be great, or, any of the other non-revealing tiles would have been better too. So I could use Galadriel's Ring to bat this away, but if I do that and I'm still revealed, then I'm really cooked, because I only have 2 movement and I need 2 steps. So I had to do a lot of math here. So the question is it better to, lose 1 hobbit and still play the way there and then keep moving? Or is it better to lose both hobbits and have Gollum so that these 0 reveals don't reveal you? So basically the question is, what are the odds that you could take another step and still actually have a shot at dunking? It's, if you don't kill the hobbits and add Smeagol, I think it was 8 out of 15. If you lose the hobbits so that these don't reveal, that it's 6 out of 11. So the difference was 53 point something percent versus 54 point something percent. So yeah, you could see why that's a little bit goofy. But also the Gollum way, then I don't need to use this playing the way there. So I have another opportunity to draw a card and hopefully get, the way there. There's another way. So I go with I thought for a long time, literally wrote down and did the math. So I lose the hobbits and I'm down to Gollum. Also, there's no We Shall Get It in the way, so that's something. So he draws a strategy card. I draw a character card. Thanks, House of the Stewards. He moves armies, and I thought for a long time here doing math too, because there's an option. I could use a ring to turn this Palantir into an army movement, and I could move 1 unit here and most of this army out. So the idea of that is that now I'm costing him 2 dice, because he'd have to attack there, and I could scouts away to Edoras, and then he has to attack it again. So that's both of these dice gone. And then I'm threatening with my remaining 2 character dice to attack Dale and to attack Pelargir, and hopefully buy myself another turn that way. But the problem is, though, for starters, he might have what do you call it? Shadow Lengthens actually helps here too, yeah. He might have Ring Racer Abroad or Black Captain Commands. Both of those turn these into attacks, right? And also I've given him a ring. So now he can use a ring on one of these to walk this regular there and to walk these reinforcements in, and then he's still attacking, and I need to pray that Minas Tirith holds on. Also, if I move this entire army out, then there's a chance that he might have Corsairs, and he'd just have to walk regular here, then play Corsairs. If he walks regular there, and I don't spend a character die walking a dude back, then I'm risking losing the game on the spot right there. So I'd have to leave a regular behind, so then it'd be 2 regulars, an elite, and a leadership against this guy, and that's not great odds for me, especially since he has the defensive start, and he'd also be able to walk this regular in, so that was very dicey whether that would work. So either way, I'm praying that Minas Tirith holds against 3 elites and decent leadership attacking. So I decide that I'm better off shooting for whatever odds I have of dunking this turn. So I draw a character card first, because if I get There's Another Way, that would help, because I could play that instead of using a ring, and then I'd still have Galadriel to bat away an eye on the first step here, since that would reveal me and stop my chances. So I draw a character. I thought for a long time, came to that conclusion, draw a character card, Wizard Staff. Just great. Thanks a lot. So he moves towards Edoras and Minas Tirith. I hide the Fellowship. He chucks in another red tile. That makes sense, because he does not need that die to get to 10 points, and that red tile absolutely makes my odds very much worse. So yeah, I hurry up and run, and it's a 2. So that's good news for me, because let's see, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, it was literally 50-50 whether I got stumped right there or not. A red or an eye that reveals me would stop my chances of dunking this turn. Anything else, I've still got a shot. So a 2 is definitely, worse than a 1 or a 0, because I have to eat the 2 damage. I don't have time to reveal here. So that means that an eye would kill me here, like it does that 4R. If it had been a 1 or a 0, then eyes wouldn't have done that much damage, and my odds would be a lot better. So right now I'm praying for 5 out of 11, so slightly less than 50% odds of a win here. So he draws a strategy card, so I decide to just go ahead and use a ring to move, because even if he attacks once and Minas Tirith does a good job defending, I would still have to risk it, because if I don't, and then he cracks Minas Tirith, then he just wins. So I might as well move now and save us the time, was my math. So I move, and it's an eye. So I die. Very sad stuff. Literally, if we just pulled a 1 or a 0 there, or if Candles had done 1 less damage, or if I'd managed to hang on to Safe Paths in the Dark, because it's 4 damage, so it exactly perfectly kills me. Just very close stuff. Very, very close stuff. I also was pretending, because 3 rings whiffed, so if it had given me another ring, and I'd been able to use Galadriel's ring to bat that first eye away, then, it turns out I would have drawn another eye and died anyway, so. It was a great game. Like I said, I think I shouldn't have chucked We Prove the Swifter. Aside from that, no obvious mistakes stick out to me. I think he played it really well, too. Great job racing to 10 points this turn. And good corruption pressure, too. So, so as I point out, our competitive games, in terms of league and tournament, we played 12 games, and Shadow has won 12 out of 12 times. So we'll see if that keeps up for game 3. So hopefully I get to play game 3 against him tomorrow, if he's available anyway. Because I like to hurry up and play these things anyway. I know you can't see the statistics, so I'll tell you about them anyway. -1 on 6s for him, so that's not a big deal. +6 on Palantirs, that kind of stinks for him. -4 overall on attacks for him. +2 on movement for me, -4 overall on hits for me. So, fairly standard luck. Yeah, that more or less accurate. Represents the closeness of the game we had here. So yeah, was a good one. I will see you next time. Toodles.